And greetings. Hey, and welcome to a informative video. So I've had problems getting these off in the past. Sometimes because people thread the wrong one on, or sometimes just because this inner race that holds the chainring on is just so old and it's been in there so long. On a lot of bikes I take apart, this is slightly loose and it just spins right off with a wrench. But some older ones that have been out of service a long time, this is really on there. So there's a few ways to deal with it. The first way I try, you gotta have a vise really. You can do it, with this on a piece of cardboard on a table and you go down, but it doesn't really do much. It's good to have a vise if these are stuck. You get your soft jaws. Get your soft jaws ready. And you put your soft jaws in there. It's good to have your trademark, patented soft jaws. Okay, so you put this in here like that. And it's good to kind of get it back a little far because if you clamp it on here, it's going to get loose. If you go from here to there, you got a better shot. But you will scratch the chrome unless you get some soft jaw action. Alright, so that's in there pretty good. So then you get your wrench of choice. We have a lot to choose from here. I kind of like this one. This is my old tried and true. It's kind of skinny and it gets in there. But these are good too. And if it really gives me problems, then I get out the big guns. It's either that one or possibly this one. Usually, this one does it usually. This is the Diamond Caulk Horseshoe Diamond Caulk Horseshoe 12-inch. This one usually does it. So yeah, we'll put it on here. And it's right-hand thread, which means righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So when you get it on here, you'll notice you're pulling towards yourself, which is not great. I could have spun it in the vise the other way, but we'll just see if this comes off. That one's pretty tight. All right. But the gear is moving. All right, so I think that would probably work, but let's just say that didn't work, okay? You could probably hold a pipe on here too, like that, and stabilize the cranks with the pipe. That way you're not twisting this whole thing over in the soft jaws. But let's just pretend that didn't do anything. Now we're going to go to the non-soft jaw method. We'll get rid of our patented soft jaws. Okay. We're going to find these two flats here. Locate those. And open up the vise. Don't worry, you could put blue tape on this thread if you wanted to, but you won't scar it up unless you're really being silly. So get it in there. It only goes one way usually. There. All right, so we got it in there. We got it in on the flats, right? But you got to remember it's right-hand thread. So if you pull this up, it's just going to tighten it. You want to pull it down. But this will try to come out of the vise. This is method number 2, okay? Let's just pretend it didn't work. I think it would just loosen it up right away, though. Oh, yeah, see? That's method number 2, and it loosened right up. But, okay, let's just pretend. Let's tighten that back up. Let's just pretend that didn't work. Sometimes it doesn't. And you can tighten them that way, too. Okay, so locate the squares. And it's either this way or this way. I can't really remember. I think it's this way to get it off. Because let's see, we're going to go that way. Yeah. All right, so before we do that, let's make sure this vise isn't going to move. Yeah, crank your vise down tight on the swivel. Make sure those swivels are tight. Okay, locate the flats. Put it in there. Okay, so, yeah, okay, that's the right way. Tighten it up good. You really get the oomph on it, man. Make sure these are tight. Make sure you hammered those in already, really good. Make sure these bolts are tight too. Make sure this is tight. And let's just pretend it still didn't come. Like, oh man, it still didn't move. Oh, it still didn't move. Okay, you know what? Now it's time for this. You put one here. Get a big piece of pipe. That one's kind of... Oh, there we go. It's kind of on there. And then you could get another piece of pipe. I know this is extreme, but sometimes you really got to get extreme, folks. Sometimes these babies are on here. And this way, you're not twisting it without force here. See, you can moderate it, what's going on. Oh, you can do double and keep it even, and that way it won't pop out of the vise. Because you have, well, these bars aren't even, but let's just say they were. And you can undo it that way, see? And since it's upside down, you're actually pretending to tighten it. You know, you're going like you're counterclockwise. Oh, no, you're going the right way. Okay, yeah. So this is loose now, and that's great. But let's go over the facts of why sometimes these are wedged in here. Okay, let's take this off. Okay, so we loosened it up. Those are the 3 ways I know how to do it. So we got that loose. And it's right-hand thread. You can spray it with spray some stuff in there. Sometimes that helps. But here's the reason sometimes these get messed up. And it's usually the person that worked on the bike before you. Let's go over to the workbench here. I'll show you. Now, you probably won't have this problem unless you get a really old bike that someone's been messing with a lot and someone's been in there quite a few times. Schwinn uses a 28 thread per inch. Ooh, look at the corrosion in there. That's been on there a long time. This crank is dated 1983. These have probably been on here since 83. That looks like white lithium on there, so that would be a Schwinn thing at the factory. Anyway, these are 28 threads per inch for Schwinn. The Schwinn did that because you had more of a finite adjustment with 28 threads per inch. Okay? But somebody that's just throwing a bike together and doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't have the time or patience, but actually it takes a long time to get a 24 thread, the incorrect style, on here. It takes a long time to get one of these non-Schwinns on there. I've seen it. That's the only time I've ever had to use a torch on Schwinn cranks. Well, one time the bike was from the 30s and was just really rusted. But another time, several times, I had to use a torch to get this inner race off because somebody, in their wisdom, and it takes hours to thread this on the wrong way. You really got to want it. You got to put it in the vise, and you got to use a giant crescent wrench, and you got to work it back and forth and strip it on, okay? I've seen it a couple times, and when you get it off, it's usually the cranks are ruined. You're just saving this gear. So, okay, this is 24 threads per inch. There's no way. It stops right there after a few clicks. You're not getting that on there. And here's another one with a little notch. If you get one of those on with that notch, you're never getting it off. Yeah. Oh, that one won't even go on. Yeah. You'd really have to want that, okay? You'd have to really work on that for hours. And good luck getting it off. with that little notch on there. I mean, I have a tool for it, but man, if you got that 24 thread on there, it'd be over. Anyway, so that's the skinny. And putting it back on is just the reverse of the opposite. You got the 3 techniques. You can use the soft jaws, you can use it in the side of the vise, or you can use it in the top of the vise. Now, you can do it another one more way, but it hardly ever works, and I'll show you. If they're already loose, you can get it off this way. I mean, if it's just you in the backyard with no vise, and that's all you got, you can get it off. Here, let me thread this back on. I know. Bear with me. This is helping people. So let's just pretend you don't have a vise, and all you've got is this giant wrench. Okay. You put it like this, and you put a block of wood under here. I know, it's goofy. Okay, you put a block of wood under there, right? You're in your backyard. This is all you have. You have a block of wood, a piece of cardboard, and a piece of plywood, and this rusty old wrench. That's all you have. Anyway, you would go like this. And sometimes it won't work, but if you slam it down, this is where you might want to have a glove on. You take it up and you slam it on the ground like that. Okay, that's why you need cardboard underneath here. You need the block to protect the threads. So, in a pinch, you can get that off. Usually that doesn't work. All right, I hope I've been helpful, folks. Remember, don't thread 24-inch thread races onto a Schwinn that's 28-inch thread, okay? It doesn't work out too good. And vice versa. Let me see if I can find a crank over here that is 24-inch, and we'll try to put the Schwinn on it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here's a really cheapy Charlie. Oh, man! Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. Okay, in the 60s, and they even did this later, on Huffy's, Huffy decided in all their wisdom that this would have no threads here. And usually I throw this away, but this is just an example crank, actually. And this piece was just a machined piece with no threads. And it would just slide on there. And that was Huffy's way of making the bike quicker and cheaper. There was no threads. If you look at that closely, very, very cheap Huffy from the late 60s. And I usually throw these away. But the thing is, you will run across this on Huffy's. They don't have threads. And the adjuster here was supposed to do it all. Well, it didn't. So let's try another pair and see if we can. Well, I don't have a. I don't think I have a non-Schwinn pair. Oh, this might be non-Schwinn. Here, let's try to thread this Schwinn on a non-Schwinn. Oh no, that's a Schwinn. It says AS and Schwinn. Yeah, well, you get the idea. 28 thread per inch. You would measure right there. And this is 24 thread. And there's no way. I mean, you could probably get it on there if you really wanted to. But, yeah, we don't do stuff here like that. Anyway, I hope I've been helpful. And that's the 4 ways I know how to get this off. The best way is really coming over to the vise and putting it in this way on top. You know, like I showed you earlier. And if it still doesn't budge, get the pipes, you know. Get the pipes on here, you know, and use some leverage. You know, heat helps too, but you might ruin the race. And I've had to heat them up a couple times, but it was because people using the wrong thread. And one time the bike was from like 1930. And, you know, when you're working on a bike from the 30s, there's going to be some torch work involved. That's just the way it is. Okay, so we still haven't got this bolt off this Stingray. It's really seized on there. And yeah, that will be a torch job. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and I hope this video has helped somebody. A paid subscriber reached out, having some issues with their bike, and that's what I'm here for. You know, I will run down to the basement if necessary and bring out a bike similar to what you're working on. We'll make this work, folks. What would Faulkner do? Yeah, I love helping people. Anytime you guys have an issue, or, you know, I'm not an expert by all means, but I do have some knowledge I'm willing to share. All right, have a great day. It's all going to be great, folks. Look at that little devil. Oh, man. A non-Stingray.